Hello and welcome back to the Spider's Web. And before we get going any further, what I want to do is just finally finish off the ringmaster. I haven't managed to get anything more done since the last video, so oops, what we need to do is just splot, splot, splot. That's it for his buttons. And for the rim around his helmet, I am thinking going with a brownish colour, and the brownish colour I'm thinking of going with is rat skin flesh. It's just something a little different rather than greys and blacks. So move that over. We can just go around the band of his hat with the rat skin flesh. As I say, it just makes it stand out just that little bit more. Oops. In fact, I'm just going to go carefree around the band, and then I can touch up on the brim of his hat with the black a little later. Done. So I'll put him to one side. The next one I'm doing is the fire breather. So here we are, that's what we're going to be doing now. Okay, so let's have a look at what kind of flesh colour we can do for her. This was quite nice, Kislev flesh. I think she can have this colour. Skin tone, very pale. She has her cheeks puffed up, her lips puckered, about to blow. Some of the petrol or whatever it may be onto the, I don't exactly know what it is, fire breathers use. But she's all ready for action there, as you can tell. You can tell now anyway. And just, she's wearing a necklace, but she's wearing some form of like low cut top. Which looks like sleeveless. I'm not sure whether that's a bangle or she's wearing gloves. I think it's a bangle. So I'm going to do it as such, and she'll be wearing, again, mostly red. Reds and orange for the flame. I was going to say then, I'm just going to change. In fact, it does look as though she's wearing gloves, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to give her a pair of brown gloves. And is that sleeveless? It looks as though there's something there, like tassels underarm, unless it's what you call it, just moulding that I've not cleaned off, or that I forgot to clean off. If you're doing these, always remember to check first of all that there's no moulding lines, which I completely forgot to do with this set. I was just in that much, just that impatient to get it going, that I just forgot all about checking and just started painting, which is the wrong thing to do. As you can see, that looks abysmal. I don't know what I'm doing wrong this time. I just can't seem to get to grips with the position on this with this series. So if I do go off the camera for any reason while I'm doing this, I do apologise. What I will do though is I'm going to move this down slightly. That's better, so it's a bit closer to me, then I can see what I'm doing. So while we're waiting for that to dry, I'm just going to go over and I'm going to change it slightly. I'm going to go over the I'm just going to use black. I'm going to go over the brim of RJ's hat with Abaddon black. Just to remove the brown that I accidentally went over with. You see what I mean? No matter where I put the camera, I end up positioning the figure in a different place, and I don't know why. But there we are. Okay, RJ is now finished. I'm just going to go over here a little bit more. Just take some of the grey off it, and that looks much better. I've not done good coverage purposefully on the hat, because I want it to look as though it's highlighted and whatever. All I'm doing is like a dabbing action just to get a little bit of paint off the brush onto the hat, but I still want some of that grey showing through. So that's that done. So all I need to do now with him is just do the base, and then he's finished. So now we have, what's the facey thing you do dare to do now, don't we? And for her, let me just find the character cards, and then I can call her by her name rather than her. Even though she's just a model, a little plastic figure, this is Hammer, the fire breather. Now the picture shows her wearing a reddish mask and black top, so I think I might stick with that actually. I like the idea, so we'll do a mask first, and then we'll go and and work on the top. So I'm going to start off with dark flesh for the mask, which is more reddy brown. There we are. Ta-da. Let's just angle the light over a little bit so it's pointing to where I want it to point, and rather than on the table beside me. So there's the mask done. Almost. I just need to touch a little bit more up here on this side. In fact, I'm just going to do the whole of the mask, including the parts inside. There we are. And I'm also going to do this part here in the dark flesh, because I'm going to do this in red, and this will give a good base colour for it. I'm going to do it different shades of red, so it's not going to be all like the like Angelica, the bearded lady, where she was all in red and black and it was all the same shade of red. This is going to be different shades, but the base coat is all going to be dark flesh, I think. And I'm going to do these at the back in the dark flesh as well. And if you remember back, just to change the subject completely, if you remember back a few videos I said a good few videos, I said that would I volunteer at a hospital radio station. Well, it's now up and running, and I do my first show on Monday, which is 29th of August today. 2nd, I think it will be the 2nd of September, will be my first broadcast on my first show. It's going to be a slight change. It's not going to be the Spider's Web. I will not be going under the name Spider on that one, but I won't be using my real name of Stephen Barr. I will be using a shortened version of that, which will be Steve VB, and the show will be called The Beehive. So on Monday afternoons between 1 and 4 o'clock I will be in the little radio studio at Racington Hospital, broadcasting my little show with one of my friends from the Art Club. So, right, so just to fill you in what I've been doing so far, I've painted the mask, that bodice part and the skirt bit at the back in the dark flesh, and I've just painted the flames on here with Flash Gits yellow. So before that dries, I'm going to go over with, now before that dries very much, I'm going to go over the flames with blazing orange. Just dry brushing, well, not exactly dry brushing, but relieving some of the yellow to show through. We don't want it all completely orange. There we are. Oops. You can see there's some of the yellow showing through. And I'm going to get my blood red out, and we're going to do exactly the same thing over the orange that we've just done over the yellow with the orange. So it's not, as I say, it's not, as I say, covering up the previous paint, it's adding to. There we are. And finally for this, I'm not going to go as far as black as I would normally with flame. It's just going to be now, if I can find it, scab red, just along the just on the top areas here, just to show that it's cooling down somewhat as it gets towards the top edge. There we are. Oops. So what I'm going to do is just go over her with this, and then once it's dried it will get a wash with Agrax Earthshade, and that will give the blonde effect that I want. I don't want it, as I say, the same shade of blonde as I gave Angelica. Alright. Don't know, it doesn't look much at the moment, but believe me, it will do shortly. Tart up the skin tones around her, around the top that she's done. So what colour did I use? Kislev Flesh, there we are. So now I made a couple of slips up here, so I'll just go there. There and there. I'm sure there's somewhere else I missed. No, it doesn't look it. Okay. So that's those two done. And next what I'm going to do is the skirt. And I'm going to do that. Actually, I've changed my mind about it being all in red. I'm going to use some of the Scrag Brown which was vermin brown, and I'm going to do a skirt in that. And obviously highlighting to suit. Now this may become a bit of a common colour with some of these, with it being sort of like a Wild West style show. We have a trick shooter, if you remember, so I may do her skirting this colour as well, with it being long and when I say long I mean touching the floor. But that to me just fits in with the outfit, whether or not it will be right I don't know, but there again, saying that these are my models, so I keep saying they're my models, I will paint them whatever colour I want to paint them, in much the same way as I encourage you to paint your models the colours you want to paint them.